Hey guys, it's John Campese here. Welcome to tonight's episode of the Triple J Podcast. Just want to give you a little bit of a quick disclaimer. Tonight's episode, we're going to be talking about a bunch of anime, stuff like Attack on Titan, Naruto, Dragon Ball Z, all that stuff. And this episode does contain spoilers for those shows, and among other shows that we'll be talking about. So if you haven't watched any of these shows and plan to, do not watch this episode because it will contain a lot of spoilers for what happens into this show. Thank you for watching. There will be, like I said, there will be spoilers in this episode. If you don't care about being spoiled or know what happens in the shows, then you don't need anything to worry about. Enjoy tonight's episode. Albert, hit it.
This match is scheduled for one fall and is for the podcast championship of the world. Introducing first, your champions had a combined knowledge of over 9,000, spanning over sports, gaming, anime, and more. John Campese, John DiMartino, and John Daly. Triple J!
All right, welcome back to the Triple J Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, John Campese, and with the usual co-hosts,
John Daly
and
John DiMartino.
All right, welcome back. We're on the 5th episode of Triple J.
It's
Today,
5 episodes.
Yep,
Crazy.
Crazy indeed.
Crazy.
Feels like yesterday we just did episode 1.
I know, right?
For real.
Yeah, dude, it's
Yeah.
crazy. Last week, in case anybody missed it, we talked the Royal Rumble.
Yes, we did.
Royal Rhombus.
That rhombus.
Yep. And if you want to hear, we're not going to rehash it because we already have an episode on it. So if you
Yeah.
want to hear that, just go back to our previous videos and you will see it.
Absolutely.
Yep. Today we're going to be talking about anime. Animes we've been watching.
Just anime in general.
Yeah, pretty much. All things
Cool,
anime.
Cool. I'm digging it.
Yep. So what have you guys been watching lately?
So for me, I've been rewatching I don't know if it's technically considered a rewatch because it's the dub of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains anime. I don't know if watching an anime.
You're just watching the dub version.
Okay.
You've watched the
Yeah.
sub, you're watching the dub.
Right, yeah. So I'm watching season 2 of Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains.
Already?
Yeah, well, it's weird. So 4K Media, the guys that doing the dubbing, right, for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Shows. So they dubbed season 1. It aired in Canada. Pretty much
Okay.
every English-speaking country where I guess the English dub would normally air, except for the United States.
This is Digimon Cross Wars all over. Or no, Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds all over again.
Yes, but worse. Because we've yet to get the English dub. It doesn't make any sense. Especially because Japan is gearing up for the 7th Yu-Gi-Oh! Show, Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s. So they just finished. They're in the process of airing, in Canada at least, the season 2 episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains, which I think went on a little bit too long personally.
Yeah.
That arc where they were fighting with Bowman and all the AI and stuff like that. Which, spoiler alert for some of these shows that we may be talking about that maybe you haven't seen, you're not caught up on, maybe you intend on seeing in the future. I don't know. But spoiler warning ahead for a lot of this stuff. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. I guess. I mean, I like English dubs for the most part.
It
not
depends on the anime for me.
Sure. I'm not one of those guys that's like, oh, you can only watch one or the other. You don't get a pick. No, you can do both.
No,
It depends on the quality, I think.
I did that for JoJo. I watched like
Right.
JoJo's part 1 to 2 in dub, and when Stardust Crusader, I think at the time Stardust Crusader wasn't dubbed, so
Okay.
we just watched it subbed.
Right.
And we've just been watching it subbed
Yeah.
ever since.
I mean, it like Daly said, it depends. For me, it also is just like, well, is the English dub out yet? Like, I couldn't wait when Dragon Ball Super was announced. I didn't feel like waiting for the English dub, so I
They were
sat
still
there.
doing Kai. That was the other reason why.
Yes. Well, Kai's 3rd season for the Blue Saga hadn't even aired just yet.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because there were some weird issues with getting the rights and
I think
the
that
whole...
that might have been the problem with getting Vrains in the U.S. They couldn't find somebody to,
Right, yeah.
to put up the videos.
I couldn't tell you. I don't know what that story is all about. But watching Super was in Japanese was interesting because for so long, now granted, I'm not that old of a fan of Dragon Ball. Like, I came in to the fandom very late. I came in well after it finished actually normally airing. And when Nicktoons and, oh my God, what are they called at the time? I don't remember what they were called at the time, but it was on CW, airing Dragon Ball Kai. That's when I started to get into Dragon Ball because growing up, it just, I don't know, just something that somehow missed my life. I don't know. But, learning and hearing, Sean Schemmel's voice and Christopher Savat's voice and all the other voice actors, it was very odd to then hear the Japanese voice actors and actresses, especially Goku's, because their voices are dramatically different. And God bless Nozawa's heart. She is like an 80-something-year-old grandmother who still screams at the top of her lungs. Yeah. For playing this character for, I don't even know how long of years, because Dragon Ball started in the 80s, so we're talking like 30-plus years at this point.
No.
Yeah.
I feel
Daly's
like Dragon
trying
Ball
to do-
1
Daly's trying to do
might have.
math
I
over
think
here.
Dragon Ball started in the 70s, the late 70s.
Yeah?
The anime
I
might have
don't
started
know.
in the late 70s.
I'm not sure. I'm going to be honest with you.
I'll
I don't
fact check me.
Yeah, go ahead, fact check. But yeah, that was definitely an adjustment. I think for anybody that watches a show, that's watched a show, an anime in particular, in English, and then they switch over to the Japanese, it could be a little jarring at first.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I've, for the most part, as another example, Pokemon, right? We've all pretty much grown up on Pokemon for the most part, I
Yeah.
would say, right? And I've only heard the English dub. The only time I took it upon myself to watch an episode in Japanese was during the Sun and Moon anime, and they had a 2-part thing where they went back to Kanto, and it had Misty and Brock show up because it was like supposed to be the celebration of like 1,000 episodes of Pokemon or whatever it was supposed to be. That was really the only time that I watched it, and it was weird, especially hearing Meowth, because Meowth in the dub kind of has like this like he's kind of got like a smooth talking kind of voice, whereas in Japan he's like very like, and I'm like, whoa, okay, calm it down there, buddy boy. Yes, Daly.
You are correct. It was 86 to 89, and then it
Okay.
immediately followed into Z.
Into Z, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's where I'm at right now. That, and then speaking about Pokemon, I'm watching the new Pokemon anime, which is a very strange anime, I gotta
Was
say.
it the new one?
Yeah, the current one with that kid Go.
Oh,
But
I thought you were
very
talking about the
much.
one that. Have you
Which
seen the one that's about Galar and?
Oh,
Dream?
Twilight
Yeah.
Wings with Tai and TK from
Yeah.
Digimon.
2.0.
Because the main so just so because I see the look of confusion on your face, can't be easy. In addition to the regular Pokemon anime, the YouTube channel, both here in the States and in Japan, are releasing, I think it's a 7-part or something like that, little clips of. It's called Pokemon Twilight Wings for whatever reason, and it's focusing on people in the current Pokemon region of Galar.
Okay.
Because the current regular Pokemon anime with Ash and Pikachu, they're not focused in Galar, as opposed, like normally it would be like, okay, we got the new games, they're set in whatever region, cool, Ash and Pikachu are gonna go there, they're gonna have adventures, they're gonna blah blah blah. But this new anime, they're like, what if we took Ash and Pikachu, partnered it up with some little Goop over here and Go, give them the Galar starter and score bunny, and then instead of going to Galar, they just go all around the world. So they go to the different regions. So like in a couple episodes, they went to Kanto. They did a little tournament thing in Johto. They went to Sinnoh in an episode.
Okay.
And like, I don't know. It's just, this anime is very strange to me.
So
Yeah.
Because it's not following like how it normally would go, like I said, where it's like, okay, so they're in the region, and then Ash is like, I'm going to go challenge the gyms, and then I'm going to take on the Pokemon League, and it's going to get me one step closer to being a Pokemon Master, and this is just like, no, you guys are research assistants going around just randomly doing things. Like in one episode, they go and follow a bunch of Ivysaur around, and then they end up on some tower and watch the Ivysaur evolve into Venusaur, and it's like... While it looks cool, I want to see Ash and Pikachu and whoever else he catches beat the crap out of the other Pokemon, like a normal Pokemon anime.
Yep.
I think it might have just been because of how hard it might have been to adapt the
Galar region?
Galar story.
Maybe?
Because they normally keep it somewhat consistent with the show.
A little bit, kind of, sort of. Except
the first
for Alola.
two with again, they tried.
Yeah, Alola is much more a slice of life, which, while I like slice of life episodes, when 90% of the show is that, I'm not a fan too much of the Sun and Moon anime. Although it did the one thing that none of the other Pokemon iterations were able to do, and that was give Ash a championship win.
Yes.
Finally.
And what does he do after he gets a championship win? I'm gonna go research things.
Pretty much. And the funny part is, and this is just more of like Ash being the typical dumb anime protagonist, where they're like, "Oh, you want to be a Pokemon research assistant?" And he's like, "What's that?" And it's like, it's in the name, Pokemon Research Assistant. What do you think it means, you big dummy?
And then what is it, like 2 or 3 episodes later? I still want to be a Pokemon master.
Yeah. Because like, so Ash's travel partner Go, his whole thing is he wants to catch Mew. So initially he's like, because like when he was younger he encountered Mew and blah blah blah. So he wanted Mew to be his first partner thing. So much so that when they go in 2 episodes, they go to the Galar region, to the wild area, to deal with a Gigantamax Snorlax. There's a Scorbunny that ends up obviously being his partner.
Whose partner? Is it Ash's partner? Go's partner?
Go's partner. Oh. Yeah. So like Scorbunny, like Scorbunny helps them deal with the Snorlax and everything, and it's clear that Scorbunny wants to be Go's partner. Well, wants to be caught by Go, and Go straight up like, "Nah, sorry. You see, I kind of want this Mew. You're cool and everything, but I want this pink legendary. So I'm gonna go the other way. Bye-bye." And then like 2 seconds later, he has like a change of heart, and he's like, "Yeah, you know what? I got a better idea. I'm gonna catch a bunch of Pokemon, including you, and by doing so, that's gonna get me closer to catching Mew." And I'm like, I don't know how that works because
You need
that's
to
not how
find
things
an old
work.
map.
Right?
You need to get a Pokeball Plus.
Yes.
You need to
Pay was it $50, whatever it is, to get the Pokeball Plus.
You need to get you need to catch all 151 Pokemon of the original Dex, and then walk on the beaches of Cinnabar Island.
Oh yeah? Are you just making this up?
No, wasn't that how you found
No.
how you glitched Mew, and it was either you glitched Mew or Missingno?
No, Mew was just straight up a glitch thing.
Okay, yeah.
Well, no, missing. No, I know for a fact it was a glitch. There was some weird
There was a way to
do.
glitch in
Yeah, I
Mew.
forget how they do it, but I don't think maybe he had to complete the Pokédex. I don't remember. But so, and it's funny you talk about like catching all 151 Pokemon because literally the next episode he's like, "I'm gonna go out and catch a bunch of Pokemon," and then you literally spend the entire episode watching him catch every single bug type Pokemon that's in the Kanto region. But like, normally in the anime and even in the games, you battle the Pokemon. But no, because you see his name is Go, which is a pun on Pokemon Go. And in Pokemon Go, you don't battle the Pokemon except when it's a raid. You catch the Pokemon by just tossing Pokeballs. So this kid is literally just chucking Pokeballs like it's nobody's business, Campese, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And like, just picture this, right? So Campese, like when you're catching a Pokemon in Go, right? And like, so you spin the Pokeball and then you toss it.
Yep.
And then depending on like how big the circle is and how close you get to the circle and everything, gives you like nice or great or excellent or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So now picture the same thing, right? But now you're watching the anime and then this little kid throws a ball and then you just hear like a very high-pitched female voice being like, "Excellent!" And like, it just completely takes me out of it because I'm like, I don't want to be not that I don't like Pokemon Go. I mean, there's some things about Pokemon Go that I personally don't like, right? But I don't want to be reminded of it every 2 seconds while I'm watching this kid catch a Pokemon. The best thing that episode did though was that he tried to catch Scyther, and Scyther was like, I don't play by these rules. You see, you're gonna have to battle me, kid. And then he's like, "All right, Scorbunny, let's go." And then he catches at the end.
Let's go.
That was not intentional.
Anyway,
So that's where I'm at with my animes right now.
Campese.
Real quick, sorry to break off before going to Campese Daily.
Yes.
I'm torturing myself by watching Dinosaur King.
Enjoy it. I love it.
I'm not enjoying it right now.
Dinosaur King is
We can
what
talk.
you want.
They got a great theme song.
Move. Come on, now make you move.
They got a great theme song, but that's about it right now.
And the original Pokemon voice acting cast.
Yes, but
Campese. What are you listening to? Watching right now.
You watch anime, not listen to.
I mean, technically, you listen to it because there's voices.
That's not wrong. I don't know why I'm doing this, but I'm watching all of Naruto.
Okay, like 100% every single episode.
Or are you cutting
minus
out filler?
minus the fillers.
Oh, okay, so
Okay.
you're doing like what I did.
Yeah.
Okay,
Smart
yeah.
man.
I think that's the best
Yeah.
way to go. Is to
And then there's
So,
some filler that you
I
should
st-
watch.
Yeah, I started this. When did I start? Like a year or two ago.
Yeah,
I'm
sounds
only
about
up.
right.
I'm only up to the part where Itachi and Kasami Hoshigaki.
Yeah,
I think it's how it's
Kasame.
pronounced here.
Yes.
Returned to the Hidden Leaf Village because they're looking for
Oh,
Naruto
okay.
or the
Yes.
Nine-Tailed Fox Village.
Right. Okay, so you're still in part 1 then.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
yeah.
watching. I'm ironically watching that dubbed because when I was on Cartoon Network, I was used to it dubbed.
Sure,
And the parts of Shippuden I did watch, they were in subbed. So I'm
Okay.
just used to that sub. So
Yeah,
once I switch
yeah.
over to Shippuden,
Right.
I'm going to be watching that sub because I'm just used
Right.
I'm
to
gonna
it.
have
Yeah.
you watch like the first or second episode of Shippuden dubbed, the Disney dub.
Oh God, I heard that's really bad. I've never.
It's not
seen
that
it.
it's bad. It's just like because it's Disney and it
Yeah.
was airing on Disney,
Uh-huh.
there were things that they couldn't do. So you censored Tamari. You don't censor Tamari.
Oops, you hate to see it, but that's cool. I mean, so I did the same thing with Naruto, where I just skipped all the filler because I was like, "There's 500 episodes of this show plus movies. I don't get the kind of time to sit there through like some arc that doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things." So I literally went online and was like, "What are the non-filler episodes?"
What are
And
the
I was-
important
Normally, I
episodes,
don't
so-
mind fillers because there's just more
Sure.
episodes to watch.
Right.
With Naruto, like, I mean, it's not that I don't know what happens in it. I know key points. It's just I just want to watch it happen.
Right, yeah, me too. I was like, because at the same time that I was going through Naruto, I'm watching Boruto, so like I kind of already know, like, okay, these guys already survived.
Yeah, I tried watching Boruto and I got confused. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. what
Yeah,
happens.
no,
it's
that
not-
happens.
Yeah.
That happens. You have to have a special mindset to do something like that, and I have a very special mindset.
We know you have a special
Oh yeah,
mindset.
yeah, you know. But so right now, because you're only up to part 1 of Naruto,
Yeah.
who would you say is your favorite character right now?
Kakashi.
Kakashi. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a solid pick. Kakashi's pretty cool.
He's
you
a
know.
cool guy.
Second would be Gara.
Gara. Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's.
I
Mark's
almost
favorite.
picked Sasuke, but honestly, Sasuke kind of pisses me off right now.
Sure.
It's fair.
Understandable.
Itachi's
Mark's-
cool.
Yeah.
Ita-
Mark's favorite is Gara.
Gara's cool.
Yeah. Anything you show Mark with Gara, he's just like, oh,
Oof. But
yeah.
yeah. And
yeah.
you watching anything else?
I want to watch the third season of Attack on Titan
Okay.
Yeah.
because I'm mad behind on that show.
Oh,
Yeah.
I dropped off of that so hard. You don't even understand.
becomes- I mean, it was the
Attack on
first-
politics.
It was the first anime I watched. It's a good gateway
Sure.
into anime if you want to start out.
As
I don't
an
know.
adult, I'll agree.
Sure.
Um,
I could kind of see that. Yeah, because, see, my issue, and I don't know if you felt this way, Campese, watching Attack on Titan. So it started off pretty solid.
It
Like,
did.
I
Season 1 was
pretty-
fantastic.
I was pretty engrossed in it. And then we get to the part in the first season where the town, city, whatever it is, gets attacked, right?
Yep.
So they got to fend off all the Titans. And it's like, okay, cool. And then, I don't know, to me, it felt like, so I think it's like 8 or 9 episodes where they're fighting in that city. I feel like it drags because at one point it gets revealed that Eren can become a Titan.
Yep.
Right?
Spoilers.
And
We already put spoiler tags in the
I
beginning.
know.
Don't
but that's
worry.
making
fine.
the
He
joke.
Can, he can throw it back up there.
That's
it's
fair.
fine. Throw it up for everybody. But so, and then they spend like these couple episodes of being like, okay, he's a Titan. What do we do with him? What do we do with him? And they're like, okay, we're gonna keep him. No, we're gonna get rid of him. No, we're gonna keep.
Well, you know, it's natural to be feared by something like that
Sure.
when your entire race is under threat from giant people wanting to eat
right,
you.
sure. But at the same time, my thing is, you're at war right now, right? Most of these people that are trying to decide are all kind of sitting ducks for
Yeah.
the most part. You know what I mean? Like, you're already low on numbers as it is. So my thing would have just been like, okay, let's lock him up. We'll worry about him later. Let's go fight these Titans, and then we'll figure out what to do with him. You know what I mean?
You're locking up a boy who can transform into a Titan, probably break out those walls anytime he
Right.
wants to bite himself.
Sure, but at that point, he didn't know that that's how he did it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
actually, no. If you saw, he like
Oh,
kind of
yeah,
knew.
yeah.
He just like,
Yeah,
but he didn't
just
know
wasn't
how he.
Sure. But
Yeah.
if you're tying him up, because his whole thing is when he bites his hand, right?
Yeah.
If I remember correctly. So if he's tied up and he's got his hands behind his back, unless he has a way, and like I'm assuming, if they're smart, they would strip him of anything that could break him out. So I don't really
That's
see
fair.
how he would be able to bite his hand and then transform into a Titan. I think that would have been more interesting of a thing for them to do. They think that he's locked away, tied up, and then all of a sudden like they're in a bad situation, and then like he just as a Titan
He finds
breaks
out.
through.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then he makes the save. That would have been cool. But I also don't think that war part needed 8 or 9 episodes, however much it was, to just kind of drag their feet a little bit, I feel like.
I won't say anything that I know,
Yeah.
but I will say that like I called it Attack on Politics because
Right.
there's an entire like 3 arcs in the manga where there's like no Titan fighting. It's
Okay.
all like the political machinations of the city.
Oh, joy.
Yeah.
I'm glad I dropped this anime.
Yeah, and then it's not until the end toward like I think it would probably be like the equivalent of like a season 7 or 8.
Oh, God.
Like 6 or not 7 or 8.
That's
like
how
6
far
or
ahead
7.
they are?
Well, yeah, they're
Oh, well, yeah,
super
because
far
season
ahead.
season 3
I think
got
it's
like
over now.
delayed a couple times, right?
Season 2 got delayed a couple of times too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, season 2 is one that got like super delayed, like 2 years delayed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Supposed to be August 2015, right? And they just kept pushing it back.
They just kept pushing and pushing and pushing. But and then I won't say what, but they revealed what was in the basement and that entire story, and then you just go, you could have told that entire story from the beginning.
But nah, we're gonna save it, dude.
And not that it's not interesting. It's just it completely like derails like
The
story of this last human city. And then you learn what's in this basement that anyone could have broken down the door and went to find. Oh, okay.
Oops.
Boilers from there.
Oops. So here's a question with that, right? So like when you're talking to somebody about like stuff that's gonna happen in an anime, because technically it's happened in the manga, is that stuff technically a spoiler? Okay.
Yes, because if the person's not reading the manga, then that's it's
Okay, yeah.
it's like saying it's like Back to the Future. In betting odds.
Right.
That's
sure.
why you don't watch the anime openings, because it literally spoils the show. Like,
Yes
they kind
and
of,
no.
Sometimes,
some of them do.
It depends, because like going back to Yu-Gi-Oh for a second, like there's been times where they'll show something in the intro
And it never happens.
and it never happens. So like a really
Yeah.
famous one of that is in GX.
Yeah.
And there's the kid Bastion, who's a raw yellow, and like it shows him with these 2 elemental dragons, a water one and a fire one. He never in the entirety of that show ever shows up
With a
a
fire
fire
one.
dragon,
Nah.
which is weird.
Now, for a show that does do that, Fairy Tale, they'll always
Yeah.
show like the
yeah.
Ark's enemy in the intro.
Yeah.
I've had to like look away a few times when watching that.
No, but like it and openings are weird like that. And then like
Yeah.
that's why I know a lot of people that were like really interested in Attack on Titan that dropped it like once they were like, it's happening so long, I'm reading the manga.
Right.
I'm just gonna start reading the manga.
Right.
And they read the manga and they were like, they sat through all the Attack on Politics, as they call it.
Right.
And once it got back to the action and all that stuff, they're like, this isn't worth it anymore. At least for them, they're like
They were like,
I'm out
I'm
because they
tap out.
like it went from being interesting in one aspect to interesting in another aspect.
Okay.
And and to answer what you said before, it's all about how you say it. Like, you know how I'm
Right.
saying I'm being hyper vague. I'm just saying like,
Yes.
oh, it goes from interesting in this way to another way, and
Yes,
that
yes.
change
Yes.
could make people completely disinterested.
Yeah. No, I
So like
know.
that's how I do
Sure.
it. Like,
It
so for
happens a lot of
example,
times.
when I talk about like the manga I'm reading, Samurai 8.
I have to get into that.
You do have to get into
keep
that.
telling me this kid Campese.
I've heard of
right?
it.
Keeps telling me read Samurai. And I'm like, yeah, Daily. I'll get to it.
I think you've told me to. Also.
I have because
And then I come home and I'm like, oh, I should read Samurai. Like Daly's been nagging me for months at this point. And then I'm like, okay, cool. And like I'll open my laptop and like get ready to go on to read or whatever. And then I'm like, I'm hungry. I want food. Go get some food. Come back. And then I'm like, crap, I have to watch this other thing that Daly told me to watch, or I have to see this other thing that I want to watch. And then I'm just like, oh, I ran out of time to read Samurai 8. I'll do it the next day. And then it's just a rinse and repeat
you
cycle.
could literally just do one chapter a day, because they're like most of them are like just like 12 pages.
Right, yeah. I mean, I read English is very easy, guys.
You know,
To go through and, because I could sit there and read a couple manga chapters in a day. I don't really care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just the fact that, like, I want to read it, but then, like, something else comes up and I'm like, crap, I got to finish this other thing first before I can get to it. Because, like, with a lot of things, unlike certain people we know, a.k.a. Mr. Hutch Toast, I'm calling you out on this podcast.
Moda.
Start one thing and then finish it completely. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because I don't want to start something else and then forget about the other thing that I was doing, because then I'll come back to it 3 months later.
Yep.
Or restart it altogether. Dan.
Well, I do that a lot. If I stop an RPG, I'll have to restart it from the beginning.
Right.
Especially if it's been like 6 months.
Right. P.S. Dan, we love you. We're just, crapping on you a little bit. buddy.
Dan.
Dan the man.
The citywide man.
Yeah. So Daly, what are you watching right now?
I'm not watching things. I'm kind of just following a lot of the stuff that I read. Mm-hmm. So like, I'm reading Seven Deadly Sins.
Okay.
And that I don't know what happened to the animation company.
Okay.
But have you guys ever seen the memes about Berserk's most recent anime?
No.
How
Maybe
like
once or twice.
when it first came out, it was like really bad.
Okay.
And then once it was like released on secondary market, it was a lot better.
Okay.
That's kind of what's happening with Seven Deadly Sins.
Where it's...
The animation's horrible.
So are we talking like Dragon Ball Super Episode 5 levels of bad? Or like, what are we talking here?
Probably.
Oof. That
Like,
was
and
pretty
it's
bad.
consistently bad.
Ooh.
And there are points where it gets better.
Is there reasons for why it's bad? Is it like so?
It's
Because like
probably production issues, and it's probably just rush it. People watch it online anyway.
Right.
We can just, and it's all on Netflix. Mm-hmm. So,
right, yeah, 'cause I've seen it a couple times on my Netflix recommended.
So like they can just update it later on.
Oh, okay.
So once it comes to Netflix for the U.S.
Oh, okay.
Because it's exclusively on Netflix in the U.S.
Yes.
Once we put it on Netflix, we can fix the animation there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Because that's kind of like not the same thing that happened with Dragon Ball early on, but like super early on, they got, I guess I don't remember specifically, but there was like different animators.
Yeah.
And like they weren't like the normal animators, so like everything was not really on point. So like a lot of people like to point to episode 5, be like, "Oh, this is why Dragon Ball Super's animation is really bad." And it's like, okay, you're isolating one episode, one fight of like 131 episodes. Because then if you go to like the Tournament of Power episodes, there's some. Not that I'm like a stickler about animation, because to me it's like as long as I can recognize what the characters are and it looks good to me, I'm not. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But like if you look at some of those episodes from like the Tournament of Power, like I'm saying, like ooh, looks
they look good.
Nice.
Yeah, because they were able to become consistent.
Yeah.
So like in this, it looks like you took a Sharpie and just kind of quickly Sharpied the character, like kind of like just like the quick Sharpie drawing, like people will do.
Yeah.
And then his eyes are like, and because this is supposed to be like a cross frame. Like you're not supposed to see the animation. This is the transition animation. For whatever reason, when it aired in Japan, it froze, so you could see the animation, and he's like this.
Oh, that's
his eyes are
cool.
crossed. He's like, it's all this stuff, and then people are like,
pretty funny.
You're not supposed to be able to see this, even if you pause. If it freezes, you're not supposed to see the transition animation. It's just supposed to look like a blur.
Right.
So,
So now, is it a situation, like, I don't know if it's been talked about for the animation, is it a situation where, like, they're just being overworked right now? Because I know that's, in general, that's, like, a big issue with a lot of the production companies in Japan.
It could just be that they had the studio has a lot of animators on a lot of different projects, and this is something that they contractually have to do every certain amount of time. But they took too much, so they have to quickly just animate it.
So instead of doing something like taking a hiatus, let's say, for a little bit, so that they can like recover and stuff, they're just like, no, we're just gonna keep going, pretty much. Okay, so it's kind of like what was happening with Vrains.
Yes.
In the beginning, where like they were kind of having production issues, and they were like, "Oh, we'll just do like a recap episode."
Oh my God!
Essentially,
talk about how I stopped watching Rain.
Thankfully, those stopped after like
season 1.
Yeah, and I think there was like 1 in season 2, but it was like early on.
Yeah.
And then after that, I just kind of kept going without issue, which like, and that's the weird thing with Yu-Gi-Oh, because like they kind of just stopped strangely with Vrains. And then they're like, okay, guys, like, we're going to have a new anime. So, because normally what happens is with Yu-Gi-Oh, it goes from, like, March or April of 1 year, and then 3 years later, it ends, and then we start the next anime in the same month. But this time, they stopped it in, what was it, like September, right?
Yeah.
Or October, something like that. And then they did a little teaser about the 7th Yu-Gi-Oh. So we're like, okay. And then we didn't hear anything about it until Jump Festa, and we got Yu-Gi-Oh 7s. And we're like,
which is a completely different kind
a completely
of
different animation style and stuff. So people are like, so people are confused as to why they stopped the anime short, because if it's a completely different studio that's doing all these different things, that shouldn't affect Vrains in any way.
And there's also the fact that if you follow the Yu-Gi-Oh card game side of things, there are so many other cards that have been coming out that would tie into the anime.
Yeah, like,
as if the anime were to keep going.
Right, like the Boral
stuff,
5.
the new there was another code talker that came out, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't even think all the code talkers, all the code talkers.
We never got the last code talker, right?
Which one? The Shooting Star? Yeah.
Did we never get? I thought there was. I thought
he
was
was
one we
in
never got.
He was in a
structure deck.
Structure deck, I think, or starter deck. One of the. I don't understand the difference between the two, because they're literally the same thing.
I think starter is supposed to be for people who start playing.
Right.
The game.
No. I understand
and then the structure deck is like a builder. It's like a building deck.
No. I understand that, but conceptually, when you look at the two, they look exactly the same. Same box setup, same number of cards, things like that. You know what I mean? But so it's just interesting with animes when they have like these production issues, because back in the day, you never really had those.
No.
As far as I can surmise, there wasn't ever really these issues where like, oh, production companies needed.
Because anime wasn't the market it is now.
Sure.
Because you look at the original Dragon Ball.
Yes.
It's a clean anime. It's old,
It
but
is.
it's clean.
Right,
There's
yeah,
nothing.
it
You don't see a
holds up
single.
for the
You
most
don't
part.
see any weird animations because they had the
Right.
time because the anime's job was to sell
The manga, right.
But now it's the manga's job to sell the anime.
Right.
Yeah.
So if now you have all these manga companies, finding all these different studios
Right.
to make the series, and
Right.
a lot of these studios are just taking them
Right. Right.
and not thinking about,
right.
well, okay, what am I going to do now?
Right.
Who are we putting on this? Who's going to
Sure.
be all this different stuff? So you have these weird animation drops.
Right. I think the other thing that maybe Japan has to start considering is kind of like what we do here with TV shows, where it's like, oh, there's like a winter break, or there's like a summer break, whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean? To give everybody like a little bit of a recharge. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because like, so for example, like the CW.
That's not how Japan
Arrowverse
works.
show, you know,
As a whole.
Right. No, I understand that. You know what I mean? But like, if Naruto, for example, like Kempi's watching Naruto, right? Mm-hmm. So like, if back in the day, if like the Naruto episodes started to dropping, right? If it was being made, let's say over here, right, there would be like a little bit of a break in, let's say, like the winter months.
Yeah.
To be like, okay, we're gonna take a little bit of a break, give these guys a little bit of time to recharge, and then come back, and then you would probably see the animation go back up.
Because
you know?
that's the work ethic difference between the U.S. and
Sure.
most of the world and Japan.
Right, sure, yeah. They have a very much more hardcore work ethic.
Your job comes before your life.
Right, yeah. So that's pretty cool with your mangas.
And then I would like to see a Samurai 8 anime because I think people are mad at Samurai 8 for just not being Naruto.
Right.
And they're mad at Kishimoto,
Okay.
the creator,
Yes.
for not doing Boruto.
Okay.
So they're not happy with Boruto, even though he's supervising all of it.
Right.
And he's making sure everything works the way he wants it to.
Right, kind of like what Toriyama's
Yes.
doing with Dragon Ball.
He said he's felt overworked with Naruto. Like,
Sure.
He was overworked, and then he was cut short. And then they said, okay, like halfway through the what's known as the final the fourth Great Ninja War,
Yes.
they told him, okay, we're ending this in 7 months,
Right.
or this date is when it's ending. And he's like, I have another year's worth of.
that's probably why the war was so short.
It's not even that the war was short. It was just the war was so like meticulous, and then all of a sudden there was just like this like
Aliens.
6 months of story of like massive plot development in the span of like 6 months. That
Right,
should have been
right.
like drawn like based on how the war had been at that point. 6 months
Right.
for each massive reveal. It was like bang 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 bang
Right.
bang.
Now, is Samurai 8, it's not connected in any way to Naruto, right?
It is not.
Okay. Because it's not like they're like because like Naruto has samurai in them.
Yes, but these are samurai. These samurai are cyborgs
Okay.
who travel in space.
Ah, interesting.
You know what I want to see? I want to see an anime of. You showed me the new Mashima series.
Eden Zero.
Eden Zero,
Yes.
yeah. Because I've been reading more of that, like online.
it's
since
very
you showed
good.
me. It looks really good.
It's really good.
Which
it's
one is that?
Eden Zero. It's about again spacefaring.
All right.
This guy who's spacefaring, and he's been chosen by his robot grandfather
Okay.
to be the next Demon King.
Ah. Oh, grandfathers? Demon Kings Daily? You don't say.
Oh my God!
so he's gonna be the
getting
next Finn
flashbacks.
Balor.
He's gonna be the next Finn Balor.
I was getting different
So-
kinds of flashbacks, Campy, but I appreciate that one.
You're welcome.
Daily knows where I was going with that.
I do know where you're going with that.
Good.
So he doesn't understand what that means because
Okay.
it's not a good or evil kind of thing. It's just
Right.
yeah, okay. So this is your ship.
Okay.
So because this is your ship, these are your 4 androids that serve you, and yeah, that's pretty much it. That's what it means to be a Demon King.
Figure it
Well,
out.
because he
kid.
doesn't know anything because he doesn't find out about it until he gets the ship.
Okay. Now, this isn't the one where the guy looks like Kamina, is it? Or am I thinking of a different anime altogether?
Kamina's from.
Gurren Lagann.
No, it's a different anime.
This is
Yeah.
a different one.
Think
Okay.
about
That's
think
a-
about Mashima. He makes all his characters look the same.
It's fairy tale.
Right. Oh, okay.
the
okay.
creator of
I
Fairy
didn't know
Tail.
we were talking about the fairy tale.
Okay, so
I
you're
don't
thinking
know
of a
certain
movie.
names.
You're thinking of a movie.
Oh, is it a movie?
It's a movie,
I don't know.
yeah.
There was just something I remember, and like it was coming up or whatever, and then Daly was like, "This is literally Kamina."
It literally is Kamina. I know what you're talking about. That's literally Kamina.
Right. Yeah.
Kamina was reborn into a robot, into a mech driver who fights fires, more or less.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
A mech pilot who fights fires.
So now, interesting little thing, because a couple weeks ago, we were talking about multiverses, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So now, in anime, generally, they're pretty self-contained. They don't really branch out and, like, cross over with anything. If they do cross over, it's more in, like, video games. So, like, you have, like, the Shonen Jump games and stuff like that. So is there an anime that you guys want to see, like, crossover with each other?
So I think you might. Have you seen Rave Master?
I've heard of it.
You want to see
That was his work before Fairy Tail became a
yes.
thing.
You want to see like why people have so much faith in him. Read it, like watch it up until it's done, and then finish it with the manga. Because you watch that and you go, okay, number one, I can see where he takes all of like a lot of his stuff from. Because people are like, oh, he takes everything from other popular anime and whatnot. He goes, no, he takes most of his stuff from
His own stuff.
his own stuff.
His
like,
own, yeah.
Like Rave Master, a lot of like. So in Japan, you know what? Because you've seen all of Fairy Tail, right?
Yeah.
So you know that alternate universe, Erza?
Yeah.
Her power in Japan is the name of the main character's power.
That's funny.
Oh.
Or the in this or main Urza's power.
There's a manga where they cross over, correct?
It is a chapter that takes place in between two arcs, I believe. And then there's going to be, I don't know what happened to it. He was hyping it up, and then there was like a month-long break of Eden Zero, and then it just started picking up again. It's called Heroes, and it was going to be a crossover, and that's what I was talking about. Okay. This is one that is supposedly happening between Eden Zero, Fairy Tail, and Rave Master.
Interesting.
That'd be cool.
Because they confirmed that it's in the same universe. Like Rave Master and Fairy Tail happen on the same planet, just on two separate on like a continent separated.
Ah,
Nice.
interesting. Yeah. Okay.
You know what I like to see crossover? It's pretty broad, but it's a pretty bold one. Not bold, but it's because of the main characters. Honestly, Dragon Ball Z and Fairy Tail, because...
That's an interesting one.
Well, here's why. The main character, Natsu...
Yes.
He wants to prove he's the best, and the way he does that is to just go straight in and challenge the strongest person to a fight.
Okay, that's very good.
And who's the strongest one? Goku.
Right.
And Goku loves a challenge.
Yeah, I love, by the way, as soon as you
so that
said
would just be that would just be for comic relief than anything.
Yeah, because like I thought you were gonna go with, like the classic one where it's like Dragon Ball and Naruto. And
yeah,
then
I
as soon as you said Fairy Tail, Daily, I've never seen this man perk up so quickly.
No, because you gave me an idea.
Hang on a second.
You gave me. I have two ideas. Okay,
Campisi was just like he said the thing, and then Daily was like, "I've cracked the code."
So
it's
that's
all
your thing
connected.
today. I've cracked the code.
Yeah, right.
So there's two ideas.
Yes.
One, well, we've already had a crossover, I believe. Was it with Dragon Ball, One Piece, and Toriko? Might be
Yeah,
something
so
different.
that was a special promotional thing.
Yeah, okay,
To promote Jump, one of the Jump games.
Yeah, okay.
But that wasn't like an episode of any of the anime.
Yeah, it was just a crossover for the sake of a crossover.
Pretty much.
So I wouldn't mind seeing one's gonna. I'm purposely gonna say because it's gonna trigger people. But I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait until that's gonna be my second one. So I want to see a legitimate crossover.
Yes.
Between oh my god, I had it in my head.
Those two guys
Yes.
that do the thing.
Not with what people consider the big three.
Okay.
Which people call
Which big three?
The children. They call it the. I've heard people describe them as the children of Dragon Ball.
Oh, okay.
Which are Naruto, Fairy Tail, and One Piece.
Yes.
That'd be a good one.
Okay.
Yes.
I would like that.
Okay. Interesting.
And then the second
I don't
one
know how that won't work, but it sounds interesting.
would be Dragon Ball and Superman destroys Goku.
God.
Well, okay, so first of all,
Daily.
Superman's not an anime character. He's a comic book character.
You said crossover.
I said anime. I specified anime, sir. Last time I checked, this episode Campisi, right?
It's about anime.
Right.
There are TV shows, animated TV shows. And what does anime stand for? Animation.
For serious crossovers, I would like to see either Naruto and Bleach crossover.
Oh, that's another good one.
I would see Bleach and Fairy Tail crossover because those are much more fantasy based, both of them.
Bleach
Yeah.
and Death Note.
An interesting one.
So when
Because they both have Shinigami.
Oof.
They do. Not long.
That'd be interesting. Yeah, I kind of wish that, like, as far as like crossovers is concerned, there was like a little bit because like all these worlds are so vastly different
That's why it's very hard to do
them.
It's very hard to do a crossover of animes because they're all very different.
Right, and like a thing of mine, especially since like the MCU and the DCU's gotten so popular, is I want to see somebody do that where it's like, hey, we're gonna take a couple of these animes,
like do their own Crisis or something like that.
So
Yeah,
an
some type of
Amaglam
I would like to
universe?
see that.
that'd be kind of wacky.
Bruce Wayne and the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh god.
Bruce Wayne, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh god, that'd be kind of wacky. So for me, and this is more of just like 5-year-old Johnny, big chilling in front of the big TV in the living room, up in Queens. Pokemon and Digimon, the classic like crossover idea.
That'd be funny.
That'd be a very interesting thing because you're talking about digital monsters that can just change whenever they want.
Versus Pokemon that change and can't go back.
Right. So it's like, oh man, that's a really cool looking little dinosaur guy you got there, Ty. And then, oh, he got big and he's got these big claws and he's got a big shield. Crap. Pikachu, what are we going to do? And then
One
like,
Thunderbolt kills Wargreymon.
I don't know about that. But then like a little while later, he's like, oh man, I don't know if we can handle this. And then Wargreymon just like runs out of energy. And then he turns back into Korma. And he's like, how did that happen? Somebody explain, please. Digimon has very strange drawing.
I've tried watching Digimon. I don't like it.
It depends on the season.
Yeah. If you want a good one, the third one with
Tamers.
Yes, Tamers. Well, over here
Well,
wasn't called Tamers.
To find it, you have to say
Right.
Tamers.
Yes. So that'd be the one with Takato and Guilmon.
I think that was that the one that was on Cartoon Network?
No, none of them were on Cartoon Network.
Are you sure?
They were on Disney.
Was
for a little
Cross Wars on Cartoon Network?
No, that was on Nicktoons. Yeah.
Was Front. I remember there was
Maybe for a little bit.
I swear
Frontier
I
might have
thought
been on for a little bit.
Yeah, I was gonna say I swear I remember Digimon being on Cartoon Network for a bit.
Was the
'Cause they were
Digimon transforming? Were the people transforming into Digimon?
Maybe.
Then Frontier I think it was on Cartoon Network for a little bit before Disney picked it up.
Because I know they were originally being
Fox
dubbed
News.
by Saban on Fox Kids. Then when that kind of closed down, I could have sworn they went straight to Disney. Maybe they did go to Cartoon Network for a little bit. I don't really remember. You're asking me to backtrack a little bit. What?
Yeah,
No.
Saban was dubbing. I think it's still dubbing it.
No. They dubbed the first two,
They dubbed
or first three rather.
no, because I remember
Yes.
Frontier dubbed it. They at least
No,
dubbed Frontier too.
They didn't have they lost the rights after that.
Because wasn't at that time Toonami was not airing like late at night? They were on like more in the morning type of thing.
I think I don't know. I honestly couldn't. I don't remember because like after a while, I just went back and rewatched all Digimon either on Netflix or online through various means that you can Google yourselves on how to do. You know what I mean? But yeah, and then they went to Nicktoons because then ironically Saban got back the rights from Disney.
Okay, so they did dub it, but it was because Disney put them on the logo.
Okay.
Because
Right.
that it happened when Disney acquired
Right,
Saban.
Power Rangers, right? and all that.
Saban in general.
Right, because they had Power Rangers, they had Digimon,
Yes.
right? Okay, that makes more sense. See, good job, Daly.
Yeah.
There you
Proud
go.
of you. Look
So
at him
that's-
using the Google machine.
Because I'm like, you're factually incorrect because I remember watching the closing scenes of Frontier and
Yeah.
there's the Saban.
I don't,
swoosh
again,
logo.
I don't really remember, but I believe it makes more sense. So then maybe season 5, Savers,
Yeah.
Data Squad
Yeah.
was separate
Yeah.
from that, but
I have this feeling that Cross Wars was the first one not dubbed by Saban.
no. Okay, so
Because Frontier, I remember.
Fusion,
yeah,
which is
Fusion.
the English one, that is Saban. It
Yes.
was 100% Saban. The third arc just was never dubbed. And then when they did try, that was done by a completely different studio
Yes.
altogether. But they got a bunch of those original voice actors back.
Yes, because I know Data Squad was also dubbed by Saban. Because I remember that was on
Maybe.
Digimon too,
I don't
on
remember.
Disney too.
Yes, I don't remember. But
But that is the end of episode 5.
Guys,
of
we
the
made it
Triple
through.
J podcast.
We made it through 5 episodes.
yeah, in 2020.
Five times.
I thought for a second he was going to do the Big E 5. And I was like,
started
that
and then I
gimmick has
transitioned.
been dead for
Yeah.
many a years.
Tell that to Big E.
I will. I'll call him up. You don't think I will? I
I
will.
think Big E loves that gimmick more than the New Day.
He probably, I don't know. He kind of likes
Equally.
I I don't know. We'll have to listen to their podcast.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway,
But yeah.
thank you guys for joining us. Whether this is your first time or you've been with us since episode 1, thank you.
Thank you very
And
much.
If this is your first time listening to us, we got 4 other episodes.
Yep.
You can go back.
You can go listen to. You can
Give it a
give us a
listen.
little.
Yeah.
I don't know on Spotify if you can do some sort of subscribe, follow. But if
Yeah.
you're listening to us on the YouTubes,
Yeah.
give us a subscribe, follow us.
Yep.
Make that.
Hit the like and
button.
subscribe.
Yeah.
Like, subscribe, comment, tell us what you think,
Or don't.
or don't.
You know, we're not
Yeah.
gonna.
We'd
force
like you to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even if you say
the
you don't
options
like,
there.
even if you say you don't like it, still
Yeah.
a comment.
Yeah.
Comment,
Absolutely.
Constructive
If you want-
criticism,
if
you know how
wanna
it is.
If you want to tell us the daily sucks, we know. It's
know,
true.
we know.
You
Yep.
can bring it back. It's fine.
true. It's damn true.
But all right, guys, that's gonna do it.
Yep.
Tune in next week. We're gonna have another exciting episode.
Another exciting episode.
So look forward to it.
Yep.
And we'll catch you guys later.
All right. Take care, guys.
Peace.
Peace.